Wait, let's say our pronouns real quick. I'm a he.
I'm a starfish. You and I are sick.
You walked into a lion's den.
You wouldn't know that it was human meat until they said to you, human carpaccio.
When I think about eating people, not only do I think about how they would taste, but I also like to think about their personality.
Walked into a lion's den.
Just call me my guy and we're good.
Yeah, call me my dude. That's it. You sound like the dumbest robot.
I am the dumbest robot.
Thank you for listening to Splittin Hairs. On this podcast, you're gonna learn about yourself. I'm Asha Salzano.
My name is Chris Metcalf.
We're all lizard people anyway. Growing up, it would be like, what are you, bipolar? Because you were happy one second and then mad the other.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not it. Like, misinformation about mental health, you know?
Right.
But we don't get a lot of information of mental health, like in a Hispanic family.
I mean, growing up in an Irish family, I didn't.
You either?
Not real. I mean, my parents went to therapy for a while. Like they sent me to. I remember in fourth grade when we had just moved to Massachusetts. I don't know how old you are when you're in fourth grade, but I was probably around 10 or 9. I don't know. This teacher, my first class, she a lot of teachers wanted to talk to my parents. They're like,
you are that kind of boy.
Yeah, they were. He's not a bad kid, but we do have to tell him to sit down a lot.
His screws are loose. They're not missing.
Right.
They're loose.
But
they're not tight.
rattling.
Yeah.
And she I guess recommended that I see a therapist or something. And at the time it felt my parents didn't make it taboo, but it was certainly well, they're saying that you need it, so we have to go there.
I think it feels like, you know what it is? I feel like
now it doesn't feel taboo.
Immigrant parents. I feel like if you had immigrant parents, maybe I feel like it's a little bit taboo.
Right.
Not your parent, not that your parents are immigrant, but the what I mean is the line of when they were here, or how close they are to wherever they're from. I feel you get what I'm trying to say. Kate's parents, one of them is a child of an immigrant, so Kate is second generation.
Right.
So I feel the closer generation, the more, I'm first generation, so we ain't talk about that shit at all.
Right.
But if you're second generation, third generation, you kind of talk about it. It's still taboo though. There's some dark clouds around it. But then I feel when you're just a white person that's American and not really, you're not yeah, I'm Italian, you're yeah, German, blah, 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 blah. You know, you don't really care. It's separated from you a lot, from your culture.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, you're right.
Because there's a lot of rich white kids who do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Who seeing a therapist, they're yeah, I see a therapist and he prescribes me stuff. He's been doing it for years.
But they're all my age. They're not the people that are older than me. Boomers, basically. Because I think you're right. I think there's levels to it, right? I think I think boomers in general, just therapy in general is gotta get out of here, Jan. I'm not gonna see a goddamn shrink. Right, just that type of there's nothing wrong with our family. That type,
a generation.
Yeah,
generation.
Just boomers, that generation. But I do think I do agree with you though that the whites are a little more easily flipped into the therapy world.
Oh yeah.
Than Hispanic or black community. I feel it's still there's a heavier taboo on it, maybe, or maybe do you think it's availability that
I think it's a couple of things. I think we don't really see doctors like that either. I think you guys see and I'm just speaking for myself. I can't I'm not speaking for every fucking Hispanic. If you're a Hispanic, do not hit me up.
I'm speaking for all whites.
Yeah. If you're a Hispanic, do not hit me up. Point blank. Not even about this conversation. No, but I feel my parents don't really see a doctor, and it's kind of I've got this feeling it's you don't see a doctor unless you're bad. Unless you're not doing well. If you're
right.
oh, I went to the doctor today in a Hispanic household, it's why? Is everything okay? You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you say in a different, in at least someone else's household, to me, it's always oh, okay, check up. But for us, it's are you dying? You went to the doctors? You must not feel good.
Right.
So I think maybe you guys see doctors maybe more than us. And who knows, maybe it's available, health insurance problem. Who knows, right? Who the fuck knows? You can throw all of that into the mix.
Oh yeah, that's an unending recipe.
Right, exactly.
That's the recipe that doesn't end.
Yeah, exactly.
Figuring that
it just
shit
keeps
out.
going.
Should we dive into that?
Yeah.
Follicles? No, I'm not even going.
I don't even have the brain power.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I'm so cooked right now.
Yeah, I'm
I
fried.
cannot. Yeah.
But so yeah, I feel like, and so you guys see the doctors a lot. So like seeing a therapist to me is like seeing a doctor. It's like you got to check your engine sometimes,
Yeah.
It's always funny to me when people are like ashamed of it. I'm like, I've never seen a therapist, but I'm not like, oh, you see a therapist? What's wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like,
well, now it's mental health awareness. It's like,
not even for me. I'm talking about.
No,
like
I'm saying in general though, in speaking to how it's less taboo now.
Yeah.
To be going to therapy.
But even in me not going to therapy still, even though I think I could benefit from it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I still think that I could benefit. I'm just not ready. You know what I mean? It's like you got to do it when you're ready, right time.
Has anyone ever told you, like, about, like, what therapy is like for them? Like, I've gone to 2 therapists. I can't say that they didn't help me. They did help me. But they do this thing.
I would say they didn't.
I mean, I'm not
No.
better. Yeah. This is not. Yeah.
You were worse?
Yeah. Oh, could you believe? Oh my God, we weren't friends back
No,
then.
I'm fucking with you.
Man, but no, it's funny. Like, and I think it's funny because like I think you would probably react somewhat similar to me. They do this thing. I mean, this isn't all therapy, but like I think like kind of traditional, whatever, old school therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like they don't like they tell you what it is, but like there's no like manual. And I feel like I went into it like the first time I went in, like they do the intake where they ask you like just general questions. They're sort of yes or no questions. They're not like it's not like any in-depth shit, but then the next session is when you go. And when I went, I just like came, I like walked in, I like sat down. I'd like met this girl once and then we just like I just sat there and she sat there and I was like waiting for her
to start the conversation.
To like be like, okay, like to be like, yeah, what do we do? And we like sat there. I mean, it probably was only 2 minutes, but it felt like 10. And I was just, and at one point I was like, so are we starting or what do we do? And she's like, well, you tell me. I'm like, what do you mean you tell me? I don't know. You're the therapist. What do I tell you? She's like, tell me anything. And I'm like kind of getting mad. I'm like, what do you mean tell you anything? Like tell you. She's like, you can say anything you want. I was like, but I'm not.
She probably got that from your assessment, from your first assessment. She was probably like, shouldn't be pushed to a conversation. Like that's what I'm thinking. Like it sounds like
I think there's a combination of things going on because I have some friends that are therapists and I've like told them about a little bit about my experience.
You're like,
with
yo,
therapy.
I've got a bad therapist. Can I talk to you about it? You're like the bad rash. You know when you got a doctor that's like a nurse. You're like, or like a friend is like a doctor or a nurse, and you're like, yo, can you take a look at this rash? That's what you did to him. You're like, yo, can you take a look at this like mental health situation here?
Yeah. And I was just like, is this normal? And my friend was just like, yeah, no, that's it's up to you what you want to say. I was like, okay, but I mean, should I take notes? And that's when I started doing. But
what's interesting is that I've heard of therapists that don't do that. Who are just like, so what's up? How are you? Like, da-da-da. It's like the approach. So I just wonder if they have like this feeling, right? Like
with me?
Not with you, with certain people. Like certain people, they're like, this one you start the conversation. This one you don't start.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if they like create that like off your assessment or just off like, yeah, this guy doesn't seem like if I sit here and be like, so tell me about your childhood. How did you do? Oh my God. Like, I feel like they're very good at like playing who you want them to play or playing who you need them to play.
Maybe. Well, they always say like one of the hardest things to do is find the right therapist. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess that's like a really difficult thing. I mean, I've only had 2, but yeah, it is weird. And I do think like, have you ever heard the, I don't know if there's like a specific expression for it, but like this idea that like therapists, one of the hardest people for them to do therapy with is Irish people, because they're so good at like burying it down, like a old school Irish Catholic New York fireman, like, or like just maybe not even that him specifically, but just like a hard out fucking just burying it all down and just not. They'll sit there and stare at you for fucking 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We done?
All right, you gonna sign it or what? You gonna sign this for me? Like,
Right.
I gotta go. Gotta pick up lunch for the kids.
Right.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, like.
I'm not saying I'm like that. I cry like a baby once,
right.
a few sessions
No,
later.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you've cried here, so.
Right. That is true. Let's cut to the footage.
Yeah, exactly. Just you weeping.
Just, yeah.
It's a gif of you just weeping. I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I would love to see like a Hispanic woman in a therapy session. Like one of my aunts or like my mom.
Right.
Because it won't be like, to me, it won't be like they'll hold it down. But like, to me, like, like an Irishman, like bury it. Like, I feel like they would let loose. But I feel like they would be able to manipulate the therapist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I feel like they'll tell the therapist everything. But then like not tell the therapist like the reason why they're there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if my family, I think that's what it would be. And I would love to see that.
Right. Yeah, that would be that. Yeah, that would be fun to see. I kind of wish. I think that like, remember when we talked about taking the balloon to space?
Yeah.
And we talked about that lady who convinced me to get the J&J. I feel like I need like a Puerto Rican lady like her to be like my therapist. I feel like she made me so comfortable to do that. I need someone like that in a therapist.
Yeah.
Like someone who just is like, "What's up?"
It was like love at first sight, but for mental health.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
literally.
you were like, I'm in love.
Yeah.
But for mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what's up? What you doing?
Yeah.
What's your problem?
Right. And like, I'd probably even like tell her some shit, and then she'd be like, "Why'd you do that?"
Or why you worrying about that?
Yeah.
Fuck off. You know?
Yeah.
Don't waste my time. I got things to do. You're like, okay,
Right.
you're right. I am privileged, right? Like I do have my 2 legs and my 2 arms.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. You
Yeah.
know, I do have to love my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I could like use some of that in my world.
Some of that good juju.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last guy, the second therapist I had during like COVID he was nice, but he was kind of creepy because he was like, he like took notes. He did the same shit that the other therapist did, where like we'd come on.
He was creepy because he like listened and took notes.
Like, well, no, this is what he did.
And
that
he
was
solved my
creepy.
problems.
Well, first of all, he came to one of my stand-up shows, which apparently was a coincidence. I think it was a coincidence. I don't think there's any way for him to have known.
Right.
But so that was weird.
And you saw him in the audience?
Yeah. But he also told me, he was like, the show was at a brewery outside because it was during COVID in Jersey City. And then during one of our sessions, he was like, so, because I told him I did stand up, and he was like, so I'm going to this show in Jersey City at a brewery that's outside, and I'm wondering if it's your show because I don't know how many shows at breweries are outside in Jersey City. And he was like,
because you were telling him like, oh, I got this show coming up. Okay, yeah.
And then he was like,
I thought that information came out of nowhere. I thought you were like, I do stand up, and he was like, okay.
So I have this. Oh yeah, right.
He's like
Okay, yes, good call. Yeah.
Moving forward, he's like telling you his stand up schedule. He's like, so
These
by
are
the
the
way,
shows I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Are you on?
I'm going to Eastville. So if you could avoid that, like, try to like make you not stalk him.
I'm going to a Kim Donat show on the West Side.
Yeah. Are you? I'm going to a show in the basement of
I'm going
Brooklyn.
to a bringer.
Yeah.
And I know that you're a comedian, and
So what did you say?
well, he did say to me, he was like, look, if it's weird, I don't have to go. I won't go. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, and then he said, he's like, you also don't have to like interact with me either. Like,
Yeah.
if you like, I'm not gonna approach you. If you want to come over and say hi, you can, but whatever. I'm not gonna like, no expectation. And I thought it was gonna be fine. And I'll tell you what, I don't think I liked it.
Yeah.
And then I eventually, in the pit with all, I mean, it wasn't a green room. It was a parking lot, and all
Yeah.
the comics were like right in the shadows in like the corner, like smoking and bullshit. And then I told all of them, I was like, yo, guys, that guy is my therapist. And they all started laughing. They were all dying and cracking jokes. And what was funny is he, you know, like the over participator in the crowd.
Yeah.
He was an over participator, and he has like a look about him because he's like completely bald, and he's like in his like, you know, mid to late 40s.
He
And
looks
he-
like
and he was
Xavier,
wearing,
like Professor X.
Yeah, but
from
like
X-Men.
could walk.
Yeah.
and was younger, but then had like a no sleeve like shirt on and like a man purse kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
situation. Yeah.
I don't know. It was very weird. Like every comic had like, for the most part, had like an interaction with him, and not like in a heckling way. Just like when they'd be like, "Where are we from?" He'd be like, "I'm from Queens." Like it was like,
So you thought that he was gonna judge you, ends up being you judged him.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
You were
I was like,
like-
"What's this dude doing? Just lurk in the back and watch the show. Why are
Yeah.
you like front and center participating?"
Instead of you probably never respected him afterwards, because instead of you being like, damn, I just bombed in front of my therapist, you're like, I don't like the way you behave outside. You know? You're
right.
So I
saw too much.
So I don't think you should be telling me what to do outside, because
Yeah.
I think I behave better than you.
yeah,
So
it
this
was
is done.
weird. It was
Yeah.
weird.
That's how I would feel if I saw my therapist like doing something like I just, and not don't like, just something that's kind of like a no-no. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
I saw my therapist like kind of playing like music on the train, like on their
Right.
speaker, like, you know, like on their phone.
Right.
Or if I saw like my therapist like having their speaker out and talking on the phone loudly, I'd be like, there's no way. There is no way that you're going to sit there and tell me, because I'm about to fix your life. Because
Right.
the next session we go in, it's you that's getting the therapy.
I want notes on the set.
Yeah. No, but I'm giving you notes. Like, I'm being the therapist.
Right,
like,
right.
So you talk loud. Is that from your childhood? Like,
Right.
You,
Yeah.
you play loud music on the train. Do you not care about anyone else? When did that turn up? When you were like 5?
Yeah. Interesting man bag. Are you Pocahontas, or do
Yeah.
you not have a wallet, or it
So,
was very weird.
you talk a lot during stand-up sets.
Yeah.
Is that? Are you lacking attention?
Right.
Was no one home?
Very participatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you grow up, in a big family and no one paid attention to you? Like, what's going on?
It's your time.
Yeah.
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 We're gonna fix you now. So I couldn't do that with a therapist.
Yeah.
I couldn't get too close.
Agreed. Yeah. I definitely learned that lesson.
Yeah.
Where I was like, yeah, man, like, just in general, like, whoever is my next therapist. I did one guy, one girl. The real reason I got rid of him, that put a weird mood, but like I was able to kind of get past that. I think the thing that was weirder, like, he was so honed in on like talking about like I'd come in and be like, yeah, so I'm like talking about like whatever, because I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'll just start talking about stuff.
Yeah.
I get how this works now. And then he's like, but then he'd be like, right. This kind of reminds me of the thing you told me about your father. And he just like always wanted to like, he would always like bring up stuff that like he specifically wanted to talk about. And I couldn't tell if he was just like wanted me to spill tea because he was like excited to hear it, or if he was like actually trying to do therapy stuff. with
Right.
me.
Like if he was actually trying to get to the core of something,
Right.
or if he was just being like a nosy bitch.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Like,
like-
you never knew his intentions.
Yeah. And he's sitting there reading me, so it's like he's like,
Well, at a
he gets all Metcalf gets all fired up when he talks about fucking whatever, and it's just
Yeah.
like
It's just like you don't want to be investigated. You just
Yeah.
want to you just don't trust your inner voice right now, and you just need someone to be the inner voice.
Yeah.
And you're like, just guide me. Don't
right.
poke at me like that. Like, don't investigate me. Like, don't like. It's kind of like you're in the shower, you're in the bathroom, like naked, and he's like, "Come on, let me see," and you're like, "No, stop," you know?
Cut it out, dude.
Yeah, cut it out. Yeah, you're like, "No, dude, like I'll just like show you my arm," but like he's like, "No, let me see it all," you know?
Let's get a good look at it and,
Yeah.
and talk about how weird it is. It's got
Yeah.
a weird bent angle
It's like
to
he keeps
it. Yeah.
poking. He's
Yeah.
like poking and like,
Ooh, hairs grow out of the top part of the shaft. That's
yeah.
weird.
Oh, pimples on your ass. Okay, let's talk about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it
Sweat
just-
a lot? You
yeah.
nervous? Cut it out.
Just
No.
feels like an investigate.
It's
It feels
fine,
like
yeah.
a fucking like
Quit-
like a like a pat down.
Yeah.
Like when you're, you know, have you ever, like when people go to jail and they get a pat down, like they got to get
spread your
naked, spread your
cheeks.
cheeks.
Yeah,
That's what
do
it
all
feels
that
like. You're
shit,
like, whoa,
yeah.
relax. You're like, take me to dinner.
All right.
You're probably like, can we get to some appetizers?
You still haven't told me what you thought of my set from last week.
Yeah. Any notes on that? Forget my dad, you know, he's
Right.
living a good life.
I'm starved for attention.
Yeah, you thought anything about that? Did you see me murder? Like, do you want to give me a compliment? Like, are we going to make this weird?
Do you think like I don't know, man, like do you think I'll like make it? Like I'm like asking him that shit.
Dude, do you think I'm the next Dave Chappelle?
Like you think I'm like I could be like a white Chappelle.
Yeah. Dude,
know?
like I'm that good, right?
Like I'll like
Right?
transcend whoever the greatest white comedian is right now and just be the white Chappelle.
You're like, fuck Pryor. Me, Chris Metcalf,
Yeah.
right? Right? Don't you think so
gotta-
too?
It like rolls
Yeah.
off the tongue. Chris Metcalf.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Metcalf, you know? 3 syllables. Boom, boom, boom. You
He's
know,
like,
it's
so your
nice.
dad named you Chris Metcalf. What about him? Like,
So what about the time Jude
yeah.
molested you?
Yeah, he's just like,
Yeah, fucking fuck that guy. I dropped him. Yeah,
good.
was
How did it
weird.
end?
He also kept jacking the price up on.
That's an easy way to make it end.
Well,
That's the easy way to make anything end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
any-
if the price
any-
stayed the original, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he told me.
If my mother asks me for like $20, she's out of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm ending that relationship.
Excommunicado. Yeah.
$20. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm done. All right. So what you were saying?
Well, I mean, when I started seeing him, he did tell me, he was like, these are COVID prices because whatever. And I was just
I
like,
hate when people say that.
I know. It's just tough when you have to negotiate with the person who's also like, you're giving your like brain to them or whatever
right.
part of
You're like,
you
I can't
is.
negotiate. You know all my low points.
Like,
it's not fair.
And then like right before
Give me someone else to negotiate.
Yeah.
Give me your assistant. Yeah, like that's not fair.
He couldn't even wait till after the session. He would do it before the session and be like, I didn't get the check from last week's session. I was like, it should be there.
You're like, due to COVID.
This motherfucker just never checked his mail, this dumb
Yeah.
fuck. But yeah.
He thought his mail was his fanny pack. He just kept looking in his fanny pack. I don't see the check. Yeah. Wow. No.
Yeah, he was a weird dude. He had a
Yeah.
book. He assumed I read his book. He was like, you read my book. I was like, no.
And what did you say?
He was like, okay, that's fine.
It's probably why he always trying to get you to talk about your dad. He's like, you're not gonna read my book. I'm gonna fucking destroy you.
I'll give you one more piece of background. I don't even care if I'm breaking doctor-patient confidentiality. I don't even think I have to do that for him. This is probably publicity for him. Yo, he's like a thespian, like theater actor. That was like the one thing I did like about him at first, where I was like, he's like, oh yeah, like I act, and he does like live theater like productions, but like he's like, I'm not trying to be a professional actor. I'm a professional. I guess he's a doctor.
Yeah,
whatever they're called.
they're doctors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
psychologist. He was like, that's my profession. He's
A
like,
psychologist
that's my...
could give you drugs.
No,
Yeah.
Psychiatrist can
Psychiatrist,
give you drugs.
yeah.
Tomato.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh man.
But anyway, yeah. It was weird. I was like, okay, so you get like the theater. You get, I mean, I'm not doing theater, but like you get the art, the thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, but then, but then he would like reference. He'd be like, I one time did a live Shakespeare in Central Park, and it reminds me of this time. I was like, oh.
He was like, it was amazing when a bird shitted on my head. Really felt like New York is back. That was him. He was just fucking happy to be there. I took a walk the other day, and I surprisingly, and there was like some kind of play happening in the park, and I was like, I don't know if I could do that.
Be in the play or watch the play?
Both. Both. It was just like, I don't want to make fun of them, but it was like community theater shit, and it was just like their changing room was like a tent,
a curtain.
Yeah, it was just like, and it just looked bad, and like, and I was just like,
were they children, adults?
like there was adults, like there were kind of like 20-year-olds and 40-year-olds. Were they what? Crips? I don't know. I didn't ask them their gang set.
Were they developmentally disabled?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't know. I'm trying to gauge what.
No, they were good.
Did you ask them if they were?
I
You don't know
usually
that. Maybe that's why the show.
Yeah, I
wasn't so
usually
great.
don't walk up to people and ask them things that aren't my business, but sure, that is a very white man thing. That is a very white man thing.
I mean,
do.
I don't do that.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
Excuse me, sir. Are you
You do that. You did that with the taxi guy. You were like, "What is this? This is cool." It's that where the
But that had nothing to do with his mental. That wasn't like.
I said questions though.
Oh,
I said
you
questions.
just mean questions?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll ask questions.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that you walk up to people and ask them what their mental state
Right.
is.
Right. Yeah.
You also, like, if you did that sometimes with how the way your hair is, I think people would be like, "Hello, 911. We have an asylum an asylum inmate that escaped." Like with the hair and the way you're like so frantic, they'd call 911 on you. You'd be in a straitjacket. You just walked up to people. What's your mental state?
Yeah,
like,
people are
"Sir."
doing it to me. See, I black all that stuff out. See, I don't even know when it happens to me.
What?
I was joking, but like people asking me if I'm mentally
No, I'm
insane.
saying it would be funny you asking them.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Me asking, yeah. So what's your part? What's your deal?
What's
the
your
matter with
mental
you?
state?
Yeah,
And they're
what's your
like-
mental deficiencies.
They're like, this man is not well. Yeah. But I saw it and I was just like, no, like I can't. First of all, I can't enjoy it. I'm in the park. Like next to the play is a fucking Dominican baby party happening.
Barbecue, gathering.
So if you don't know what that means, it's like the baby is 1 year old, but there is liquor, there is hookah. They will be up to 1 a.m. It's like
tents, like the picnic, like
Yeah.
barbecue tents set up.
and it's like from like
Balloons.
12 to 2:30, it's the baby's birthday party. After that, it's the adult's birthday. Like they celebrate too. Like for a while, your parents celebrate. My mom didn't do that, but like a lot of parents do that shit. They're like, all right, good night, and it's party. Like I don't know if you guys ever seen like pictures or memes of like Spanish kids like laying on the party chairs, and they're like, tell me you're Hispanic without telling me you're Hispanic. And it's like a baby is like sleeping in the chair, not a baby, but like a toddler, like 3 or 4. You're like knocked, and everyone's like dancing still. Yeah.
You know what always fascinates me? Did you ever see here in New York City, I notice like Muslim families mad late at night, like on like a fucking random day of the week. Like a whole family's walking around. It's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. It's like the kids, and they're not going. They're like chilling. I don't know if they're on like their
Yeah.
country's time or something
No,
like that.
you know what? Maybe like some kind of fasting or something like that.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Like maybe they can't go out because like sometimes they can't go out at a certain time. If I'm not mistaken, like because I remember.
That makes sense because I know.
Yeah.
Have we?
Because I remember like no, you're good. I remember one of our security guards was fasting at Coogan's, a Johnny, and he would like eat at certain hours. Like it'd be like
yes, they can't eat during daylight.
yeah, like at some point it was like it'd be like 4 a.m. and we'd be like, all right, Johnny, you leaving? He's like, no. He's like sitting down with a plate of food. I'm like, at 4 a.m. But he was good. He was good.
Yo, wait.
But it's crazy.
Stop me if I don't know if we've talked about this on the show. When I used to work at Soho Grand, the two guys, my bar back and my bus guy, like Wahid and I forget the other guy's name, Fazul, Wahid and Fazul, and they were fucking. They didn't drink, they didn't smoke. They were so fucking. They were so good at their fucking job, and like. But they were like two little Fonzies.
Yeah.
Like their hair was fucking nice, and they bought like nice clothes and watches and shit. And like,
I love that.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was great. And like they would always, I think they lived because they had wives. Well, Fazul did and Wahid did, but like, like he had a wife back home, you know, and like I think they like lived a little bit like vicariously through me. They'd be like, "Did you go on dates? I shouldn't do the voice.
Right?
Did you go on date? Like they'd be like, "Hey man, did you go on dates this weekend?"
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I went on a date. To be like, what happened?
Yeah,
like because they like wanna, they like love that. It's so funny. But anyway, every time that time of year, is it Ramadan when is that Ramadan? Whatever the fasting.
I think they fast like twice too.
Right.
in
Well,
a
they do it.
year
There's
or,
a
like-
time where they do it for a whole month.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's a time where they do it for like a week.
Yes,
I
there's
think,
another
yeah.
time. Yes, they fucking when during that month, we would work the morning into the day shift. So like basically we started at 6 a.m. and then we were done at like 3.
Yeah.
Normally, these guys are on top of it. During that time, they looked stoned.
Yeah.
Like they looked dead. And I was like, what's up with you guys? They're like, I can't eat. Like they looked like they were shot. And like, you know, we're all on the same team. You know, you got to pick up the slack for them and whatever. I'm not mad at them, but it was just crazy for it's just like, and me and my manager at the time, he was you know, he was like I say Italian, but I don't want you to think he's like wearing a wife beater, but he's like a Long Island guy.
Yeah.
And he was just like, it's that time of year with these guys, like joking around with him, like, they're malnourished.
Yeah.
Like I need these guys working, you know. And he was cool. He would like pick up the slack, but still, it was just like it was a little locker room kind of deal with us. Yeah, they would fuck with him, and be like, "Come on, guys, I don't care if you're hungry." Like I'd fuck with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if we didn't notice that like a Johnny was sleeping more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if we were like, oh, this fucking guy, like, stay up. Why you can't stay up? But like, I don't know if we ever correlated that because it's just like
specifically with people who are Muslim during that time,
right? But we didn't like need him for work. Like, we needed him for security, but yes. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if we put 2 and 2 together because we were just like, Johnny's sleeping too much. He's probably like tired. You know what I mean? As opposed to like these guys, they're like bussing. So you're like, yo, what's up?
Right.
Like busing is just more of a constant.
Yes.
Like, because you need things like immediately. Like your busser is like bringing you everything.
Oh,
so you would notice more. You know what I mean? Than us because we're just like, oh, he's sleeping this week too much. Like,
right.
So I wonder like if all this time we were like busting his balls and like calling him sleepy and like being like just roasting him for being asleep and being like,
he's like fasting, his whole family's hungry.
We'd be like, oh, it must be nice, you know? And like meanwhile we're like stuffing our face with like burgers at whatever time and we're like, must be nice.
Counting your tips.
Yeah, it must be nice. Oh, look, sleepy boy over here. Yo, sleeping beauty, you know? And this guy is like doing a sacrifice, you know what I mean? Trying to be like holy with himself and all of that shit. Wow, pieces of shit, I tell you.
That's so
Washingtonites, pieces of shit.
So fucking funny.
Yeah.
Did you guys do like the Lent, no meat on Fridays at all?
Me and my family never did.
Carol
that.
used to try to throw that shit at us, and it was so because the thing was the trade off was always like pizza on Fridays, and I think like boomer housewives
that's
also
cool.
use it as an excuse to not have to cook, and it's Friday night, let's get pizzas. But then of course we're looking at the menu and Jude's like, I want pepperoni, let's get a meat lovers.
yeah I want the sausage.
She's like, Jude, we can't have no meat, and he's like, I thought we said pizza, but then
it's like, Jude, I said no meat. That's not real meat. That's not real meat. That's not a steak or a chicken, like that's how I would see it. That's not real meat.
Yeah.
That's just a little sprinkling of meat. A little sprinkle meat.
Just a little dash of meat.
Yeah.
It's not the
just
same
a little
thing. I'm
shake.
not eating a steak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can see that too, being like, oh, come on, what's the big deal? Yeah.
There's a great old Carlin joke where he's like, man, imagine it. He's like, because he was talking about how like the church like always like reforms old rules, like how the Catholic Church recently was like, gay stuff's kind of cool. We're kind of cool with it.
But
like,
sex is cool.
But sex is, just don't.
Yeah, it's chill. But sex is chill. Yeah.
And
there were people being like, oh, it's my bad.
No, I don't give a fuck. I'm referencing a joke that's not even mine.
People will be like, oh, like I heard a couple of people like being like, oh, the Pope said it was okay, so I think it's good. I'm like, what a sad life to just live your life around what the Pope wants.
I know.
Right?
You're like waiting for this. Hell yeah.
This is the night vision. We the vision go. But what you was going to say about the joke?
Oh, no, it was just funny. He had this part where he's like, imagine guys like when they reversed, because it used to be a mortal sin to eat meat on Fridays. Mm-hmm. And he was like, man, imagine a guy just burning in hell for eternity. He's like, it was a bologna sandwich.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention.
I forgot.
He's doing like a New York Jew voice. He was like, hey.
Well, I was busy working that day. It was tough.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah. Because when you start breaking down the rules, I think it was like always fun. I think we did that when we were younger too. Because like you're a young kid, you like question shit. You don't have as much of an ego. You would like ask like dumb shit like logistical questions, and then you'd kind of like the teacher or the priest just you'd try to like math them into a question so much, and then they'd be like, "Gentlemen, at a certain point, we just need to have faith in the Lord."
Yeah.
That's like the fallback.
But why? But why?
Yeah.
But why? So when you're sitting there, but whying everything. But why? But why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but how did they do that? Why is his hair? What's the guy Saul who had like there's like a story of like the guy, he had this long hair that gave him strength, and then one night somebody cut off his hair and he lost all his strength, and then it's just like, but why does hair give him strength?
Yeah, but if his hair gave him strength, then when he grew it, he got more strength. Like,
right?
Why did that grow?
Why can't he just wait and grow his hair back out?
Yeah, just like go in hiding until his hair comes back. It doesn't work that way. But why not? It's his hair. But it does not. But they didn't shave him. They didn't. Right. It wasn't bald. It just does not. It is. We trust the Lord. We have faith. He's like has a vein coming out. Yo,
it's so funny. Like you ever hear like the story like David and Goliath? Like that story. What?
No, it just reminded me when I used to go to Pentecostal church with my aunt. I used to be like people in Pentecostal church, they're always like, when they have like the culto, they call it a culto in Spanish, like a culto, and they're like praying over them, or like they tell them make a line, and they're all doing the fucking like they feel the spirit, like all that shit. Yeah. Like I remember being sitting there talking to my aunt and being like, but why she only has that when it's this, like, why does she only have it? Oh, the mating call.
The mating
Stupid.
call.
I was like worried.
Yeah, no, everything's fine.
I was worried someone's gonna die.
It's just a horny man. Yeah.
Oh my god, how stupid of me.
It's just a horny guy.
It's just cool. It's good. So I would ask her like, but why only, like, I saw her like 2 minutes ago and she wasn't acting like this. Like why? So then she's like, oh, she brings it out of her, and I'm like, then why does she come here? Like, I wouldn't want someone to bring that out of me. Like, if I didn't feel like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
And she was just like, tu preguntas demasiado. Like, like you're not supposed to ask questions when you're, a child. It's disrespectful.
Right.
So it's that just reminded me of that, like, being, but why?
Right.
But why?
How
yeah.
come?
Yeah.
How come?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up
but
with
what
that?
were you gonna say?
I don't even remember what I was talking about. I don't even remember what I was saying.
If I didn't have to piss so bad, I would have remembered.
You want to take it? You can go piss.
No, I'm good. What am I, a pussy? Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm a podcaster. I can fucking do this. I can do this. It's a sacrifice.
Wait. All this talking about Catholic school and shit. I'm gonna tell you something that I've never told anybody. I've never told anybody this.
Okay.
If you could decide, we could decide to bleep this out or
what was his
delete
name?
it. Father White. No.
Yeah.
How sometimes like something happens to you when you're really, really fucking young, and you just like always remember it, but like you don't even know why it was significant or why it was weird, and it's like feels like a lateral thing. There's this one time when I was like young. I'm talking about like 2nd, 3rd grade, like a child, a little kid,
a baby still. Yeah.
I still went to co-ed Catholic school, right? And for I would get like boners randomly. Like one time I went to the doctor with my mom, and like they were like, okay, get down in your underwear. But like I'm a kid, so my mom's sitting there, and I just like, when you're that young, you just get a boner and you don't even know why.
Okay.
And so like I got like this boner, and my mom's like, Christopher, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And like whatever, right? So when I would go to church,
and then the doctor like took care of you.
Yeah, he jacked me off while Carol watched.
Yeah. She was like, just make sure he's my boy. You just make sure he's good. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can find that shit on the dark web because it was filmed. No, but so for some reason, like when I was little, and like they would make you go to church like once a month or sometimes more, you'd just be sitting there, and like if I was bored, I would just like get a boner, like just sitting there, and
you would make yourself get a boner?
No, I wasn't controlling it. Like it's not like
okay, yeah, no, I was just asking
because there's nothing like sexual happening.
I don't know. Those saints are pretty sexy when they only have like a robe.
When they're just the robes just standing there.
Yeah, pretty. That's pretty fucking hot. I don't know. Have you seen Jesus' toes?
Right.
Them shits is,
little toesies.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Jesus from a certain angle looks like a woman. I don't know. I wouldn't say there's no reason, okay?
Right.
I wouldn't say there's no reason.
Right. Well, maybe if they made it a little more entertaining, because just to paint a little bit of a picture, I mean, this is like boring church, tall ceilings, organs.
That's every church.
Right, but like there's like fun gospel churches where you're invested. I don't think you have time to get a boner as a kid if you're standing up, hitting a tambourine and dancing.
You never know.
And they're holding up the snakes.
No, you never know.
You
Maybe
know, like,
snakes
I don't
give
think
you
I'm getting
boners.
that's okay. Maybe
You never
okay,
know.
Right.
But go ahead. So what were you saying?
So I would just like get these random boners. Like
Mm-hmm.
from my memory, like I would just get them just sitting there because I think I'm just bored.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on, and I'll never forget this one time I was sitting there and I figured out one time that like you can move your dick, not a lot, but you could just kind of like move it like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
like up and down.
That's it.
Yeah.
And not even all the time. Sometimes if everything's like aligned and you're like,
Yeah.
I have control, I can do it, right? It's like a kegel. You know what I mean? Or
Kegel.
Kegel,
Yeah,
right?
Kegel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a dick Kegel. You
Yeah.
know, you can just and I was sitting there and I again, it wasn't sexual. It was just like, yeah, this thing happens sometimes. And I'll never forget I had this like little boner in my like school. I'm wearing
It's like when you first start to notice that you can move your fingers, right? You look at it and you're like,
oh shit. Right.
So to you, you're like, I can move something
Yes,
else. It's
yes.
like when someone like realizes they can move their ear. They're like, oh, look at that.
Oh,
that's cool.
That's
That's a cool
literally
trick.
that is exactly
Yeah,
what it is, right?
yes.
And I'm wearing
'Cause
like
you're
the
not-
blue button up with the tie. And
You're
the
not old
slacks.
enough to be like, my dick
Yeah, this is
moving.
my dick. I'm
Yeah.
fucking horny
Yeah,
as fuck. Like I don't
yeah,
know what's going
yeah.
on. And I'll never forget. I was like, check it out. And I nudged this girl sitting next to me. I think I remember what girl it was, but I'm not gonna say her name. But I was just like, look at this. Isn't it crazy? Like I was like, check it out. Like I was like, man, I'm making it move. Like I just didn't like
Now we know where your first sexual assault is gonna come from.
right? I just canceled myself.
No, fuck
I
that.
know,
Yeah.
obviously. I was like
you're
a child.
done. You're fucking done.
Done.
She's coming for this podcast.
Yeah. I don't
No.
even remember what perspired after that. I just remember vividly being like, yo, and having to be like, so the nearest person to me needs to
She
know
was
about
probably
this.
like, that's cool, you know, because you're a kid.
I don't know that she did from my memory, but also this is so long ago. You know, that shit
She
is
was
all...
like, ugh.
I was already that kind of kid. I mean, no girl wanted to sit next to me. I was like annoying, you know.
Yeah, you made it worse.
I've shown you some footage.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sitting still.
Yeah.
I'm poking around.
You're
I'm
distracted
fucking-
by everything.
I'm fucking around with the thing that flips up for your knees and
Yeah.
goes down. They're like, Christopher, stop playing with that. Like constantly telling me to
Yeah.
sit still and yeah, biting my nails, figuring out that I could move my boner.
That poor girl. She's probably a lesbian.
She probably is a lesbian. I'd like to think that something positive came from that on her end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Don't
yeah,
worry
maybe
about it.
she was
She's
like,
gay and she's got a wife and 3 kids.
never,
You're good.
I helped her.
You helped her realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. You helped her realize because, you know, you're always gay. You just never realize it, right?
Yeah.
That's how it happens. You're always gay. You just never realize it. And that, like, you know, it takes girls a couple of times, couple of years, some years. But she saw that and because you're all instincts, right? At that time.
Right.
You're a kid. She was like,
Oh, she
Yeah.
was like, this is
yeah,
mortifying.
she was like, I'm gay. She's like, I am a faggot. I'm
Yeah.
never coming here again.
See, I am an ally.
I'm helping.
I'm
I'm
helping.
helping.
Yeah.
I wish I could ask you, like, when was the first time you realized you were gay? You know what I mean? Like the first time when you're like watching a movie or something like that. Like, cause that's
Right.
been like circulating around TikTok. It's like girls like they'll show a video of like an old show or like one did Kim Possible.
Right.
And she was like fighting. Remember Kim Possible had her villain was like the opposite of her, like this like black long hair, green and black cat suit.
Yes, kind of.
Like the opposite of her. So like they were like fighting kind of, but you know, like wrestling. And then like this girl pans to herself and she's like, me 8 years old, like realizing, you know, like a bunch of that shit. That for me, it was Jennifer's Body.
Wait,
have you ever seen Jennifer's Body?
I've heard of that movie.
With Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried.
Okay.
You remember that?
I
Like,
haven't. I remember
Megan
the
Fox
title.
is like,
and Megan,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
she's like this is what I should have really known. She's a man killer. She's like killing men all over the fucking school, and then she makes out with Amanda Seyfried, and then it went bloop, 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 and I said, oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay.
I
Okay. All right.
You know, that is so funny. That is so funny. Did I ever tell you when my friend from high school,
When you realized you were straight?
when I realized I was straight?
Yeah.
I was gay and then realized I was straight. My friend from high school was gay. He came out before my brother did, and like it was only weird in the sense that like I'd always defended, because people would always be like, "Yo, your boy is gay."
Yeah,
I've
he's
talked
gay.
about him on the show.
Yeah,
but
no,
like they'd
he's
be
gay.
like, "He's fucking
Yeah.
gay." He was also like the best lacrosse player at the. He was
Yeah.
like an.
He was gay.
Alpha male, but then it's like I'm like he and I are on the sidelines doing shadow puppets, pretending we're like butt fucking the other guys on the team.
Yeah, so it makes
So
sense.
we're like doing gay shit.
Yeah.
that like we think is funny. He thinks is funny, but also it's like he is gay. So like that kind of fucked with me a little bit, where I was like, all that gay shit that I thought was funny, like, am I gay? And then I remember like going and like being like, I'm gonna try to watch gay porn, and I was just like, there's nothing here.
That's very progressive of you.
I was like, there's nothing here for me.
You see, here I thought that you couldn't share something with me. Instead, you shared when you knew you weren't gay.
Yeah.
And you went like, what's interesting is that you went straight for it, right? We're like, girls, we just like watch a show that like have girls kissing or girls like kind of wrestling, and then we're
Right.
like, oh, okay. You're like, I'm going to get to the root of this. I'm not
Right.
going to see no making out. I'm not going to see no hand holding. None of that. Straight fucking. Let's see
Right.
what you got. Yeah.
Right.
You're like, it's easy for me. I can pick it up and put it down. So if it doesn't get up, that's for sure.
Let's see what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, too, like, he probably was doing all that shit and didn't realize he was gay. You know? Like, because it's like once you're gay, then it turns on, and then you're like, yes. Like, but you can be like, he can be doing stuff and like subconsciously be like, something about this turns me on, but maybe it's just the act of sex.
See, I thought that, and then many years later, he told me a blacklist of all. I went to an all-guys high school. He told me a blacklist of all the guys he fucked or sucked their dicks or they sucked his dick.
Yeah.
And some of them are married with kids now.
That's not shocking.
Right, okay, but to your point of him being confused, I don't think he was confused.
So he was already fucking them.
Right.
Oh, I thought this was
But
pre-gay.
all in the closet, though.
Right, but I thought this was pre-gay Mark. It was you knowing that Mark was gay.
Correct.
But this isn't.
He knew he was gay out the gate. You know what his moment was? And I'm sorry, Mark, for outing you. I know you're never going to fucking watch this, but.
Yeah, you don't care about us.
Yeah, you don't care.
Fucking-
Even
you're
though
homophobic.
I'm going to come visit you soon, though.
Yeah.
He told me his was Chips. Do you remember the old show? It was about two cops that were biker cops.
I thought you were talking about, isn't there like a chipmunk called Chip?
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, I thought it was Chip. I thought
No,
it was
no,
Chip
no.
And
You know
I was
the show
like,
I think it's called Chips.
I was like, hey, whatever floats
I think one
your
of them's
boat.
like a Latin dude, and they're like motorcycle cops.
Yeah.
And they, in retrospect, if you look at a picture of them, I mean, this is inverted. I would say pull up a picture, but.
It's not inverted. It's night vision.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck.
My bad. It's like so gay. Like the show is so gay, and also he's a cop now. But like to
You're
your
like,
point,
no wonder.
right?
Yeah.
And to your point about like that moment,
So that was his
your
moment.
Jennifer's
Yeah.
body. That's his Jennifer's body. Is
Yeah.
seeing Chips as like a young
Yeah.
kid and knowing. But yeah,
Good for him.
Yeah,
Good for him.
Oh yeah, he's living his best life.
Yeah, unlike us.
Yeah,
Unlike us miserable fucks.
up here in the new urban
Yeah.
Florida.
Oh, God. We could never. Florida's too great to be New York. New York could never. Right?
What, be Miami?
Yeah.
I said Miami specifically because I just watched the cocaine
Miami Cowboys.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting that they were like boat drivers and everyone was like, they're superstars. And
then
that's what ended up getting him fucked up.
Yeah.
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 I know he's like, God damn that cop that was in there at that time. Like, who the fuck likes, like, who's from California and likes these sales? You know what I mean? Like, you normally don't
Right.
watch that shit.
Right.
But they were on the run for a while.
Yo,
Did you like Squid Games?
I'm not done with. Did you finish all of it?
Yeah.
I'm on like episode 4. I just finished the Tug of War. Spoiler alert: if you're listening to this, we're talking Squid Games.
Yeah. No, we don't have to go into it. I was just wondering.
Oh,
I knew
down to go in. I'm like after this, I'm gonna go home and eat food and
Yeah.
probably watch it until I fall asleep.
Well, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's on Netflix. Honestly, like, it's just like brutally sick.
Yeah, but this is yeah.
It's brutally sick.
For
but
I'm actually surprised for Netflix. I'm actually kind of surprised.
I think they're going. I think they're they're expanding. I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna like mansplain Netflix to you, but I'm gonna tell you
what
what
aspect of Netflix, like how they make money, because that's something I am interested in.
I'm talking about what they're looking for.
Oh,
like
okay.
what they're so they're expanding soon. They're doing like gaming and something else. They're gonna have you like if you have a subscription, you can just game from them. So they're going that route, right? So to me, I think they're going worldwide now. I think
Not worldwide already.
Yeah, but I feel like they know what HBO and worldwide with their content. You understand what I mean? Like what they're buying, like what's their original series and the kind of shows that they're buying and putting on.
Right.
Right? Like they also got Casa de Papel, which is a Spaniard drama series.
Right.
That's not something that we usually see like on HBO or CBS. You know what I mean? It's usually always like Americanized shit, and if we do, it's like it's Americanized, and if we like do it, it's like British. You know what I mean? I feel like.
Well, you know what I found out recently? Did you know that The Departed was originally like a Korean or Chinese movie?
No,
that
I did
they
not know that.
adapted
No.
into an American film.
Yeah. But you see, so I think HBO, Peacock, all of them, CBS, whatever, they're like taking things away from Netflix, like because they're creating their apps.
But they're not
streaming.
even going to compete. They're dead in the
Well,
water.
I think
they're
what
fucking done.
I think what Netflix is trying to do is, all right, you can take your fucking shows. Go ahead, take The Office. Go ahead, yeah, take your movies. Go ahead. You know, because
they don't. Yeah.
Because before, that's what they relied on, was all these shows that CBS let
but then
them.
the deals got reworked. Yeah, because they all saw the money that was being made.
Exactly.
Right.
So they all got jealous. So I think Netflix is like, go ahead, we're gonna buy all this Korean
you know who
shit.
started this before anybody
Japanese
was
shit.
the Yes Network. Everyone got mad at the Yes Network, and they are the originators of private content.
All right.
You remember when the Yes Network came out?
No,
Oh my God, you don't remember that?
we don't have time though.
Oh, I mean,
Sorry.
all it was like the Yankees used to play on,
The Yes Network. Yeah, I remember that.
and then they were like, whatever his name, Steinbrenner or whatever, was
Yeah.
like, hey, guess what? You want to watch Yankees? You got to pay extra money,
yeah.
like for an exclusive channel for only
For
Yankees.
only Yankees. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so watch Squid Games. I think it's amazing. I think it's I just think it's like good writing. I think the characters are good. I think the games are good. The storyline is good. I like the fact that it doesn't feel like there are certain things I knew like I love to watch a show and just like be like, I think this is happening and this is happening, just to see if I can think like a writer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, stupid. But it does have some like hardcore shit that I didn't see coming.
It's those Korean films, and the Korean cinema world is fucking amazing. That and all their shit is like a lot of the stuff I've seen is wild, like
bloody and shit
Squid
like that.
Game,
Well,
yes.
even if you see like the French shit they had too, Platform. Remember the Platform where it was about the platform, like people were like, this was either like a jail for people, or people would like turn themselves in to get rid of addictions, and they were on like, there was like a 300 platforms, and they would send food, and if you were on one, you never seen that on Netflix? You should watch it. The Platform. It's French. Fucking gory. I like it. The ending is weak, but like,
right.
to me, I'm like, yo, for a French film, like, I'm so glad Netflix is doing this. You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
feel like we were cheated with like this U.S. show. Love them, but
Right.
I like some flavor. You know?
Right. I like a little bit of juice.
Sometimes I like Chinese food. Sometimes I like sushi. Sometimes I want KFC.
We like
Sometimes I want
flavors.
McDonald's. Sometimes I want Spanish food, tacos. Don't board me.
Yeah.
Don't give me McDonald's every day.
Yeah. Don't fuck around.
Don't fuck around.
Don't fuck around with my flavors, please.
Don't fuck around with my flavors. I feel like that's a song.
Don't fuck around with my flavors.
Yeah. Don't fuck around with my flavors.
Except instead of it being like some innuendo about like my flavors in terms of like having different like women or partners, it's like we're
yeah.
literally talking about
Food.
yeah.
Yeah. That's how I pictured it.
Yeah.
Never thought about like women or anything like
Like
that.
instead of throwing up money, we're just throwing like spices from the spice rack up in the air.
Yeah,
Like
but like
basil.
also like packs of spice, you know, like like cinnamon, and like some of it is loose and we just, it's like powder, you know what I mean?
Yeah, get the ends on the slow mo.
Yeah,
and get
I'm
this.
like, don't fuck around with my flavors.
I'm holding my tongue out. I got a bouillon cube on it.
Flavors.
We only stick with savory.
We should do it. I think people will pay good money to see that. We
See?
should do like videos, like music videos.
Yeah,
Be
like
funny.
get up money together, and we'll use Stringer.
I thought that was like an app or like a food or something.
No,
You're
we're
like,
gonna use a human guy.
yeah. Oh man, I wanted a robot guy. Do you have a would you rather?
Yeah.
All right, hit me with it. Hit me, baby, one more time.
Would you rather live in a world where all the food tasted like one flavor and you only get that flavor for the rest of your life? You can pick the flavor, but that's it.
Okay.
Or every meal you eat is like it's like all the flavors mashed together into one. So you're getting all of them, but they're all, it is all of them, but it's still going to taste the same every time because it's all the flavors mixed together.
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Just one flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that I would like to become the master of that flavor, and then maybe could have a career on being like, if I'm like, whatever, pizza.
Yeah.
And I could be like a master pizza person or something.
Yeah, like you'll be an expert.
Right.
Also, for me though, what I'm thinking more is like, I'm gonna get tired of both. I'd rather enjoy the one I do know I enjoy and have that one flavor and just love it passionately than have all these flavors that maybe not go together, but I still gotta eat it every day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, yeah, I'm going one flavor.
Yeah.
But you know what? Don't fuck with my flavors.
Don't fuck with my flavors.